Sorry.
Danger! Piranhas! Not piranhas!
Aztecs were great horsemen for their foes.
And
Colts. Or what did you? Because I don't think I had the word.
You started at Go that way.
As English and Dutch pirates were constantly attacking and capturing treasure ships. Kept chocolate a closely guarded secret for over 100 years. Until the daughter of the second of Look, I found the treasure. The 13th of France. The secret with her. What's this? This is just bags of seats drop-ins. Get rid of it. What sort of treasure ship is this?
Huh?
There we go, look. There's the food.
Signorita, uno pochino cioccolato. Just as I suspected. My fellow countrymen absolutely adore the taste of chocolate. Just look around you. Everyone is drinking.
Is this the same recipe originally enjoyed by the Aztecs?
We have changed the recipe by replacing the chili pepper and by adding other spices. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and by adding sugar. We kept chocolate a closely guarded secret for over 100 years, until the daughter of King Philip II of Spain married King Louis XIII of France. The secret with her to a French court. Chocolate and cocoa arrived in England under Cromwell, but didn't gain popularity until the restoration of King Charles II. When it became popular both at court and with the wealthy.
The dwell time is the next area to St. James.
Bournville Street. My name is John Cadbury, and this is my shop, when I first established my business in 1824. My father, Richard Cadbury, owns a Rose and Drapery store next door. Our family are staunch Quakers, and we originally came from the West Country. Father moved the family to Birmingham from our home in Exeter in 1794 and set up his business as a linen draper and silver. Birmingham was a fine place to live, with plenty of business opportunities. We soon made many friends, and my father became a prominent member of the local Quaker community. Because of our religious beliefs, Quakers were considered to be nonconformists. This prevented us from studying at university, and as a result, we were unable to enter the professions, such as medicine and law. Also because Quakers are pacifists, we couldn't join the army or navy. And so trade and commerce were the only areas where Quakers could focus their ambitions and prosper. I was apprenticed as a tea merchant in Leeds, and then worked in a bonded tea house in London. When I returned to Birmingham in 1824, I borrowed some money from my father to go into business as a tea dealer and coffee roaster. I took over this shop and installed this large plate glass window so that my customers could see the samples of tea, coffee and cocoa nibs that I prepared myself. My colourful window displays soon attracted new customers from far and wide. I even employed a fully costumed Chinese man to help serve in the shop. Oh yes, he caused a lot of interest. And with him minding the shop, I started to experiment manufacturing my own cocoa and chocolate in the cellar behind the shop. You see, I'd noticed that fashionable people were drinking cocoa and chocolate. I decided to offer them to my customers as well. This was good for my business, because tea, coffee, cocoa and chocolate were considered as acceptable alternatives to alcohol, of which we, as Quakers, strongly disapproved. Let me tell you some more about how my business grew and prospered from these very humble beginnings.
Okay, everybody, if you'd like to come on through for the first show.
Here we are in the cinema.
And then, on top of all that, I had to move out of Crooked Lane and into another factory, here, in Bridge Street. That's when my brother Benjamin joined me, and together we formed Cadbury Brothers. With more space, we could now prepare a cocoa powder and an eating chocolate that could be packed and sold. Soon after, my eldest son, Richard, joined the company. Having Richard with us made all the difference. He saw to it that the quality of our cocoa improved, introduced new products, and even opened a shop in London. Our efforts were rewarded when we received our first royal warrant from Queen Victoria. That was when my youngest son, George, joined us.
George introduced many benefits for the workforce, such as half-day holidays, the sick club, and many improvements in the factory.
And Richard, your new designs for our packaging were a huge success.
Well, we had to try something different, just to get ourselves recognized, Father, as we were still a small company. Our aim was to manufacture only the highest quality cocoa and chocolate.
I know, but I could tell you some stories of less scrupulous producers who added brick dust to their cocoa.
Ours was still gritty, but we only added sugar to take away the bitter taste and starch to absorb the fat. However, George had heard of a new kind of cocoa press. He went to Holland in 1866, saw the press being used and brought one back.
The Van Houten Press.
Oh yes, Father. You see, because we could extract more of the cocoa butter, there was no need for more additives. Not only was our cocoa essence more palatable, but also output increased.
The Bridge Street factory was now too small to cope, and we had to expand somewhere else.
For some time, George and I had shared the same vision to build our new factory in a garden setting, away from the smoke and grime of the city. We called our new factory Bournville. We opened our new factory in 1879 and were faced with many more challenges as the size of our workforce increased. As the company prospered, we introduced bonuses, such as payment for output and punctuality, a 5.5-day week, pension schemes, works committees, training, and many other benefits.
I sent my son George to Switzerland to find out how chocolate was made using fresh milk.
Soon after, Cadbury were able to manufacture chocolate with a much higher milk content that rivaled even the best Swiss products.
That was when we launched our most important new brand. We called it Cadbury's Dairy Milk. It became so popular with its distinctive taste that sales exceeded all our best expectations. And within a short while, it had become our best-selling chocolate. In 1919, we merged with Fry, and the company went from strength to strength.
And so we have seen that big things have their roots in the smallest beginnings.
Thank you so much, guys. Now
The raw cocoa beans are now pasteurized using very hot steam. The clean cocoa beans are now taken to be roasted in revolving tubular gas-fired ovens. The beans are then cooled and ready to have their shells removed through a process called winnowing. This is done by passing the brittle beans into a series of vibrating cones and hitting them with vapor iron. The shell is then blown away, and the remaining pieces of bean are called nibs. The nibs are now ground up in large mills. This process generates heat, which helps to transform the nibs into a thick, chocolate-coloured liquid called cocoa liquor, or mass. Some cocoa liquor is taken to our factory at Marlborough for further processing. The rest of the liquor is pressed to extract the cocoa butter. The refined cocoa butter is now taken to Bournville, where we will catch up with it later. Meanwhile, the cocoa liquor that has been taken to Marlborough is pumped into storage tanks, ready to be turned into chocolate crumb. Over 150 tons of sugar and 500,000 litres of fresh full cream milk are delivered to Marlborough every day to be used in this process. But first, the milk must be pasteurised and then evaporated to remove most of the water before sugar can be added to produce a sweetened condensed milk. The liquid milk and sugar solution is now heated again before the cocoa liquor from Chirk is added and thoroughly mixed to create a thick paste. The paste is then squeezed between steam-heated rollers under a huge vacuum, causing the paste to turn into a powder. The cocoa butter, which came from Chirk earlier. The paste is then refined into a flake before being conched or mixed to form a liquid chocolate. This liquid chocolate is used to make all our famous milk chocolate products.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed. These doors are going to be
It's little games.
No, I don't want to play games. I'm not.
It's just little videos.
Yeah, but I don't want to watch anything. Oh, let's do the stores they need to say. Hi,
chocolate by hand a long time ago. So we're going to go back in time 120 years into the past before we got all the machines that we do today to make chocolate. So Cadbury had a group of ladies that they called the Cadbury Angels who used to make chocolate in this very factory, and they would make it by hand day in and day out, and this is how they did it. So first we take our melted chocolate. Chocolate melted around 50 degrees, that's way too hot to go into the mold, so we're going to have to cool it down. Now the process of cooling chocolate down is fast. I'm putting into temper chocolate. We're going to need palette knife, fish shell, and marble table. Now marble is a key component because it's cool to the touch and it helps cool the chocolate down. So here we go. Just going to spread that side to side nice and thin, and then we're going to give it to you. Now temperature will be three key things. Temperature gives chocolate signature sound when we bite into it. So it makes it taste smooth when we eat it. And it's also it gives it that loaded sound when you bite it. So if you couldn't temper our chocolate would probably look dull. Tastes great, not only that, it might stick to our mold and have white heat marks. Now we do have machines that take care of this process for us. For a long time ago, they would have been doing this by hand at around 8 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. It was a really big part of their job, making sure the chocolate was the right temperature to ensure its quality. That being said, they didn't really use thermometers for chocolate like we do, so they actually just check the temperature using their pinkies. Here we go. Now that is perfect. I'm ready to go into my plastic mold. You would have used a really heavy metal one, like this one I got for right. Heavy, loud, and it could rust and everything. So here we go. We're just going to scoop this up. And then it's really good now. And we're just going to spread that evenly across the mold. Now when we tempered our chocolate, some air got inside. So what we're going to do is tap the mold against the table to get those air bubbles up and out like this. And then we're going to see tiny air bubbles coming up. Tiny little air bubbles coming up. Tiny bubbles. Now we're going to tap that again. Bubbles are going to pop. And that's how we're going to avoid having holes in our chocolate. Now this is my favorite part because if I've done this process correctly and I've tempered my chocolate right, when I flip this mold over, the chocolate shouldn't fall to the table. But if I've done it wrong, however, when I flip the mold over, the chocolate might splatter over the table. So what do you guys think? Should I flip it? Flip it now? No. Let's flip it. 1, 2, 3. Let's check a second time. Maybe I got lucky. 1, 2, 3. Can I check a third time over someone in the front row? Now if you're in the front row, you want me to check over your head. If you come on closer, yeah? 3, 2, 1. Whoosh. Wait. There we go. So that means we've done a great job and nobody gets any chocolate on their head today. Thank you so much for your help. Now, if they wanted to fill the chocolate with different fillings, they would have done a process called shelling. Shelling is easy. All we gotta do is melted chocolate comes down to the table, whereas the chocolate that's set will stick to the mold. That's making chocolate rain. Here we're just making room for all of our favorite fillings like caramel, strawberry cream fudge, and anything else we want to think of putting into chocolate. I'm going to put the paper piping bags, piped in their fillings, and then cover it right back up with some extra dairy milk. And then we're almost done. Now we're just going to top. Pop again. That's ready to go into the fridge to set. Don't worry, because we're going to find one that we made earlier today. I can show you the finished result. Now it's really important that we don't eat this chocolate just because we've used it over and over and over again. It's not safe to eat anymore. But don't worry, because coming up next in chocolate making, we will get a special chocolate surprise, okay? So here we go. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. That's how we used to make chocolate by hand a long time ago. Thank you guys so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your tour. Thank you. I just love how it's whatever.
So he's got like batch numbers made by page count, so that's all there like.
we've got lazy, we're making lollipop cats and cornies and lollipops. That's actually man, our wonderful team is here, Andy. And we have got Donna here decorating as well. You're going to get 2 sweets in your melted chocolate. We've got marshmallows, jelly babies, Oreos, fudge, and white chocolate. Good idea. If you guys want your names or want you to get that message, we are doing that on class today. So you can see the lady doing it for you. You can video her and you get presented with it. So if you want one of those, that's up to 6 months ahead.
So, got her mould, white back, white chocolate.
Look at that store. Dad, can go out there after my balloons.
Yeah.
It's
a toilet. Chocolate.
It's closed. How could we get in? Oh, it's right. Now look at that beautiful bunny. Dad, this is what's it making? Mama, listen.
Oh yeah.
How do you open this? I want to go in.
You can't do it.
Why?
Because it's closed, it's for show.
Open. Let's go. I'm going to write it. I'm going to
What's your jacket? Oh man.
Mum, what happens if you don't want to go on this? This is just a ride. It's a show. It's a show. Dad, I can't access the system.
How are you doing?
Information announcements.
There you go, guys, come on in for me.
Their chief delivery officer, flying overhead at speed, whilst engaging in a number of daredevil aerobatics and spilling hundreds of mini eggs in the process. Our confectionery correspondent Roberto Caramello met with Mr. Parrot earlier today. Mr. Parrot, you're in charge of the delivery of mini eggs. The disappearance of thousands of mini eggs must be a real concern for you. At this time of year, will you still be able to guarantee the supply of mini eggs around the world? And would you say to the allegations that you may have been responsible for those losses due to your somewhat unnecessary aerobatics? The unit has been built in Chuckleton to produce giant balls of Cadbury Dairy Milk. The new facility features the company's largest ever mixing bowl and whisk.
Nothing to worry about. Well, hello everyone and welcome on board. Fredo, could you please secure the winch brake? Thank you. Let's all sit back and enjoy. Why, Mr. Parrot, how lovely to see you. Are you coming with us today? Mr. Parrot, you need to slow down a little and take it easy. You don't want to spill any more of your precious mini eggs, do you? Now that's not a good idea, is it? You nearly caused a bit of an incident there. Here, Mr. Parrot. Relax with a piece of Cadbury's caramel. Hey everyone, take it easy. Just grab hold of the emergency caramel bar hanging in front of you. Bring it towards you. We'll need some of that.
How do you make that squeaky?
That's okay.
Slide!
Yeah, slide down here. This way. Come on. Go!
You're sticking out front.
Good. Yeah. Do you hear it? It'll shake. Mum, it shakes.
What happened? You're alright. Up. Up. Drink. No, go back round. Come on, back round.
Right, cheers.
What does this button do?
Changes the picture, I think.
There's Cadbury's all Hello, Fredo. That's Fredo? Mama, I told you that's Fredo.
I know. Oh yeah, excellent.
Hello, he's moving because
Hurry up, please.
Yeah. It's like
have you got those stuff in the kit that come over? Yeah.
£2 for £1. 2 for £2.
Look at that chocolate. Dad, you need these.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they've all sectioned it up, you see.
How cool?
Oh, just the way they do it.
Yes. What about you?